questions. Now, prior to this, I've had 2 regional shows and a best-selling book, and I was 8 years into my career, so it wasn't brand new at this, but I really thought they were overly friendly in California, which I thought was great. And at the end of the tour, they said, "We want you back tomorrow. We want you back tomorrow. We want you to be a contributor for Insider." I'm like, "That's incredible, but I can't come tomorrow. I have a conference. Then be here Monday morning at 4 a.m. And you're going to talk about this, and this. Memorize it, send us what you're going to talk about, and come back." So I drove back, memorized everything, went to my conference, drove back to Los Angeles. I report there at 4 a.m. I sit down, and a producer comes into the green room, and she comes like rushing in. "Jennifer Ettinger, I am so-and-so, so-and-so. It's really, really, really nice to meet you. And you know everything that they told you? You're going to forget it all, because now we're going to show you 5 videos. We want you to use the following 10 adjectives, and we don't even have time for makeup. Makeup, you got to stop. Leave the lips." I am not kidding you at all. I am about to throw up in their makeup room. I get thrown in a chair to be my first time ever on national television for being a contributor. It was filmed. I can only remember like 1 of the adjectives out of the 10. And here's the funny part. This is just such a tragedy. Can I say tragedy? Can you hear me? Say tragedy? Well, when I was reporting on the videos that I was watching and hyperventilating to the fact that this was way overwhelming for me, I couldn't say tragedy. So I'm sitting there trying to trip over the word, because that's the only one I can remember that I just shared. And they're like, "Cut, Jennifer, you're having a hard time saying tragedy." So what do I say to all of them? "I am a tragedy," in my chair, and I just start sinking down, and they're like, "Oh boy." But they found a clip, they used the clip. They must have been very forgiving, because they asked me to come back as an online contributor, and 4 weeks later, I was asked to be part of something called the Twitterati. Yes, the Twitterati is a collective group of people globally that come together, and we work red carpet events through only this. No microphone, no fancy equipment at all. And for the last 7 years, I've had the privilege of working with Vanity Fair, Access Hollywood, Insider, Entertainment Tonight, and the last 3 years have been Bell Media with my phone. So everyone has a story to tell. Do not get intimidated by needing a lot of equipment. You can simply, if you have a heart and you have a voice and you have passion and conviction, you can make it happen just with a phone. So now that you know how I broke into the business, and I pitched this idea in Canada, on a plane, that's another story. I kept seeing like e-talk on the planes all the time in these big production groups, and I just flew by myself all the time. So finally I went up to them on an airplane and said, "Do you work in entertainment?" And they're like, "Yes." And I'm like, "So do I." And we had total synergy. I said, "I have an idea for Canada." And that's how it happened. So when you are thinking about sharing a story, number 1 to me, there's been 2 asks that I shared with you, a social ask and a in-person ask. Ask the question. Do not give that moment up. I hear Eminem in my head all the time now. When I do, and I know that means, oh my goodness, that music's going in my head. That means I have 1 shot right now to either ask you that question, or I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life that I didn't just step out and try and ask. So when you're thinking about your stories, and you want to reach out to people, and you want to learn, or you want to ask a story within your story, ask. People are listening. People want to connect. And that is the second part of my philosophy, is finding those communities of like minds. When you find those like minds, what happens? What happens?
Great things happen.
Thank you. That's why you're in the front row. Great things happen. When you find those like minds of interest, people are engaged. That's the next word. People are engaged. They're interested in what you have to say. You're all here because you want to you're building your brands, you're storytellers, you're looking how you can up your game, or maybe you're new to the game. You are entrepreneurs, you work in creative. We all have similar interest here. So when you're willing to tell a story, or you want to work on a story, you want to find those of like minds. And then the next step that I really highly encourage is to engage. And thank you for engaging with me, because sometimes it's scary, right? It's not, I'm gonna come after you next. It's scary, it's very scary. But here's the thing, if you're online, this is what I share with my clients, we have a really hard time with this. If someone is taking time, and I hate this word, and I hate the word hate, busy schedule. If someone's taking their time to like your t-shirt post, what should you be doing?
Engaging.
Thank you. But how many of us are engaging? Not many, because we're too caught up in the next task and the next task. Oh, good, we got likes. Oh, we got people talking, which is amazing. That is a gift. You are all a gift to me today because you're here listening to me. You're giving me eye contact, you're being responsive. I give gratitude truly for that. That is a gift that I don't take ever lightly. So when someone's taking time to actually engage with you on your social stories, whether it's a photo, whether it's a video, please just stop and make the time to engage with them. I call this social synergy, right? It's a connection that's happening, which leads me to, if you're creating that connection among one another within your stories and what you're sharing, then please take the time to build slowly. Rome, we all know, was not built in a day, but we find that we are, as entrepreneurs and as business owners, we panic. Oh,